All right, we're good.
Okay, the Arizal teaches us that the birds of the klipa, because we said that there are birds on the side of holiness, and that's the place where the prophecy is drawn. And then we said that there are birds on the side of the klipa. And the song, if it's song of someone that has fear of Hashem, so they're drawing their song from the birds of the holiness, which is the place where the prophecy is drawn. And Rabbi Nachman explained that's why the chazan who sings is called a chazan, comes from the similar word as chazon, which means a prophetic vision, because the song comes from this place where prophecy is drawn from. But then there are the birds on the side of the klipa, and someone that sings and he does not have the fear of Hashem, so his song is drawn from that place. Amazing, eh? He says, Rabbi Nachman, that these birds of the klipa, they are the consciousness of the malchut of the klipa. They are the brains, the spiritual brains, which is the intellect, the consciousness of the malchut of the klipa, because you have 10 spirits on the side of holiness, and corresponding to that, you have 10 spirits on the side of the klipa. And the malchut of the klipa, in the world of malchut of klipa, there's also a consciousness. And so the mochin, the consciousness of that klipa, the malchut of the klipa, are these two birds. On the other hand, the two birds from the side of holiness are the aspect that builds the malchut of holiness. So that would be also the mochin. It would be the consciousness of the side of the malchut of holiness. So the consciousness of the malchut of klipa, what builds the malchut of klipa, which is the Yetzer Hara, is the two birds of the klipa, whereas the two birds of the kedusha are the consciousness of the malchut of holiness that build the malchut of holiness. Okay. Lefichach nishtabach David lifnei Shaul. Therefore, David was praised in front of Shaul as someone that is v'yodea nagen. He is skilled at playing music. Why? What is the big praise that he is skilled at playing music spiritually? How is that relevant spiritually? Because song is, as we just said, it's what builds the malchut. Song is the consciousness of the malchut, and that consciousness is what builds the malchut. So either it's the aspect that builds the malchut on the side of holiness, or it's the aspect that builds the malchut on the side of the klipa. And therefore, since David HaMelech was skillful at playing music, meaning that he was skillful at building the consciousness of the malchut, the aspect that builds the malchut of holiness, therefore he's also worthy and deserving of that, of to be the merkava, to be the vessel for the expression of that malchut in this world. He is worthy to be in place of that malchut in this world because he was skillful at building that malchut. And this is also helps us understand what it says about David, that from behind the nursing women he brought him, meaning from behind the nursing women. And that's what alot means, right? So what is that? The nursers, the aspects that nurse. That's the Netzach and Hod. And the Netzach and Hod is the aspect of the consciousness that builds the Malchut. And that's the aspect of these two birds, Netzach and Hod. Why are they called the nursers? Because they give nourishment to the prophets. The prophets draw their nourishment, their life force, from these nursers, from the Netzach and Hod. Because these two birds, they are what bring the nourishment to the prophets, and that's what builds the aspect of Malchut. Okay, wonderful. Now Rabbi Nachman is going to fit it into the story of Rabbi Bar Chana. This is what Rabbi Bar Chana was intending when he said, I myself saw this Akrokta. What's an Akrokta? The Rashbam explains that Akrokta is tzfardea. It's a frog. Hainu tzipordea. So the word tzfardea is made up really of two words. Tzipordea. And that just shows us that a frog that he is speaking about here is alluding to this aspect of the bird, which is the consciousness, the dea of the Malchut, that builds the Malchut. Okay? That's the frog. It's the birds that we just spoke about, the Netzach and Hod, which are the source for consciousness, the mochin of the Malchut, and that's what builds the Malchut. So it's a tzipor, bird, dea is the consciousness. So what did he say? He saw this tremendously big frog that was as big as this city called Akra de Hagronia, this place called Akra de Hagronia. So he says Akra de Hagronia is also alluding to something. Akra is like the word kra, which means to call out. The Hagronia sounds like the word in Hebrew begaron, which is with your throat, meaning you call out from the place of your throat. Mileshon kra begaron, from the same word, the same connotation in Hebrew as call out with your throat, with your voice box. The song is drawn from it. From what? From this. So basically he's telling us, Rabbi Bar Chana, that he saw this place where song is drawn from. He saw the source of song. What's the source of song? We just said it's the two birds. We have one on the side of holiness and we have one on the side of the klipa. And the two birds on the side of holiness, which is the consciousness of the Malchut, that builds the Malchut, the bird of consciousness, Tzipor Dea, it's the size of Akra de Hagronia. That's basically telling me, the fact that he's telling me that it was the size of Akra de Hagronia, and Akra de Hagronia, says Rabbi Nachman, alludes to song that comes from your throat, that you're calling out from your throat. That's basically telling me that the song is drawn from this tzipor dea. The song is drawn from the birds, which are the consciousness that builds the Malchut. The Akra de Hagronia, he continues, explaining the story of Rabbi Bar Chana. The Akra de Hagronia kama have shitin bate. How big is this Akra de Hagronia? It's the size of 60 cities. Haino, what is he teaching us? How does a person rectify this aspect of song that comes from a person's throat? Through these 60 houses. What is the 60 houses alluding to? Through the 60 tractates of the Shas, the 60 Masechtot of Shas. The Rashbam explains on these words, through the 60 houses, says Rashbam, Talmuda ka'amarla. So the simple explanation is that the narrative here is the Talmud. The Talmud here is speaking, is narrating here what is going on. But really, it's the words of the Rashbam when he says the Talmud is saying this, is alluding to the fact that a person should learn Talmud. That the 60 houses here are, in fact, hinting to the Talmud, the 60 tractates of the Talmud that a person should learn. And when a person learns that, he rectifies the Malchut, he builds the Malchut, which is that building of the Malchut, the consciousness that builds the Malchut, which is, as we just said, the birds on the one hand, and also the Talmud on the other hand. The Talmud is also, that's what it is here. When a person learns Talmud, he's building the he's connecting to that consciousness. He's building that consciousness that fixes and rectifies and gives structure, completion, perfection to the Malchut. And therefore, if you want to rectify this aspect of song so that a person should not be negatively influenced by the song of the Klipa, instead he should be connected to the song of holiness, which is the aspect of consciousness that builds the Malchut, then he should Talmuda ka'amarla. He should study the Talmud. Ata tanina bal'a. But now there's something that comes and removes this tikkun. It removes this holy energy that fixes the consciousness, that builds the consciousness, that is the consciousness that builds the Malchut of the holiness. And what is that? That's the serpent that came and swallowed this huge frog. Operush Rashbam. The Rashbam explains what is this on the words in the Gemara. The serpent, says Rashbam, Rabba Ka'amarla. Simple explanation is that he's saying that Rabba is saying this part, but there's a deeper understanding here. It says Rabbi Nachman. If a person learns Torah, Rabba Kamarla, if a person learns the Talmud in order to be called a rabbi, to gain respect, then that is ulterior motives. Hi, Rabbi Yosef.
Hello, how are you?
Good, wonderful. We're just a few chapters, I think 2 or 3 pages after where you're up to.
Okay.
Ata Tanina Bala, it's in bold. We're explaining the part of the story where the serpent comes and swallows the humongous frog. Maybe it's 2 pages after.
Right.
You have it? Ata Tanina Bala.
No. Yeah.
The serpent came and swallowed it.
I got it.
So we were just saying that the aspect that fixes, rectifies, completes the Malchut is the consciousness, the mochim, that builds the Malchut, and that comes from Netzach Hod, and that's the 2 birds. And when a person learns Talmud, he is actually building that consciousness that fixes and builds the Malchut, completes the Malchut. The Talmud specifically is the consciousness of Malchut, right? Because we said there is Torah shebichtav and there's Torah shebal peh. Torah shebichtav, the written Torah, is connected more to the Kudsha Brichu, and Torah shebal peh is connected more to the Malchut, to the Shechina. And when a person learns the Torah shebal peh, the 60 tractates of the Shas, a person is building the Malchut, and that's basically the 2 birds on the side of holiness. These are representing the consciousness that builds the Malchut. And that's where the song is drawn from, and that's where prophecy is drawn from. So when a person learns the Talmud, he is fixing this aspect of the consciousness of Malchut, and therefore he will not be negatively influenced by the song of Klipa, which is the aspect that builds the Malchut of Klipa. Song of Klipa is what builds the Malchut of Klipa. But now Rabbi Nachman says that in the continuation of the story about the serpent coming and swallowing the frog, alludes to something that comes along and can ruin the rectification that would have come about, the tikkun that would have come about from learning the Talmud. What is that? He says that this is when a person learns the Torah, the Talmud, with ulterior motives. If a person learns the Talmud with intention that through learning the Talmud, he will be considered a rabbi, he will gain respect, he will receive respect, kavod. So then that ulterior motive is ruining the tikkun that would have been done through the learning of the Talmud. So that's what he says here. Ata Tanina Bala, the serpent came and swallowed it. Operish Rashbam. Rashbam explains on these words. Rabba Ka'amrla. Rabba Ka'amrla. Rabba was saying this, but it's alluding to someone that says to himself, by learning this Talmud, I will be called Rabba. I will be called a rabbi. Hainu alidesh ilmat shelo lishma. Through learning the Torah with ulterior motives, Yivla ota hanachash. The serpent will come and swallow that Torah. And that's what's hinted to in the words in the explanation of the Rashbam. The Rabbi was saying this, meaning that he's learning in order that he should be called a rabbi. Ata pushkansa, and then there's another thing that comes about and destroys that destructful serpent, that destructive serpent. What is that? It's the raven. Pushkansa pirosh Rashbam orev. It's a raven. But now this is also hinting to something. Look at all the things that are hinted to just in the explanation of the Rashbam. So this is, look, on the one hand, a person may explain that yes, the Rashbam actually intended all of these things. On the other hand, another way to understand how Rabbi Nachman fits into the words of the Rashbam and Rabbi Bitton, all these wonderful explanations, is that because they were said with such Ruach HaKodesh, the words of the Rashbam and the words of Rabbi Bitton, so all of these 70 faces of the Torah were included in their words, even if maybe consciously they didn't intend it when they were saying it, but they were a vessel for this Torah to be revealed through them. And that Torah in itself, coming from such a high place, includes all of these interpretations as well. But there's a story where, in Likutei Moharan, I think, that Rabbi Bitton came to Rabbi Nachman and told him that all the explanations that you said in my words, I intended. They're all accurate. I'm just saying that, look, the words of the Rashbam, if it's hard for us to believe that he intended these explanations, these hints, then we can explain that because he was speaking from such a high level of Ruach HaKodesh, these explanations and interpretations were included in his words, whether or not he consciously was aware and intended it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, so look what Rabbi Nachman says here. He says that the raven, the word orev, the word for raven, so he says the Rashbam is hinting to that a person should learn Torah at night, because night is called arvit, erev, same word almost, right? Raven is an orev, and arvit or erev is night. So that's the aspect that comes and removes that destructive serpent, that terrible serpent that swallowed the frog. It's the aspect of learning the Talmud at night. And this raven came and swallowed the serpent. What does that mean? It means that learning the Talmud at night protected him from that serpent, right? The fact that this raven swallowed the serpent teaches us that the learning Torah at night, erev, it swallows, it removes that destructive force of the serpent. And then the raven goes and sits on a tree. What is that alluding to? The Maharsha explains, Shehu b'chinat Avraham. The tree is alluding to Avraham. Shekatuv etzlo vayita eshel. It says about Avraham that he planted a tree, right? The Zohar speaks about the tremendous secrets of the Torah, the tremendous holiness that was in the special tree that Avraham planted. And the Zohar alludes to the fact, the way the Zohar speaks about it, it seems like the Zohar is saying that the tree that Avraham planted was the tree of life, some sort of manifestation of the tree of life in this world. And that's why anybody that came to sit under the tree, if he was impure, the tree would move away from him. And there were many other magical characteristics of this holy tree. And the Zohar says that this tree was only able to be planted in Eretz Yisrael. So that's also alluding to the fact that it's Eitz Chaim, because Eretz Yisrael, relative to the rest of the world, is the aspect of Eitz Chaim, the tree of life, relative to the other tree of good and bad. Anyways, Maharsha says that this tree is alluding to Avraham, It says about Abraham that he planted a tree, which is the aspect, this tree that he planted was in order to do kindness with all of his guests. So the whole tree that he planted was a tree of kindness. And that's why this tree is the aspect of Abraham, which is the aspect of kindness. So what is it telling me when it says that this raven, as we said, is the aspect of learning Torah at night, sat on the tree? It's telling me that learning Torah at night brings about the aspect of tree, which is chesed, because the tree is Abraham, and Abraham is chesed. So when a person learns Talmud at night, a tremendous light of loving kindness in the Gemara is called a thread, chut shel chesed, like the name of Rabbi Arush's yeshiva, chut shel chesed. A thread of loving kindness is drawn upon him. Okay, and that's that also. So Rabbi Nachman is telling us that that thread, or that light, that shining light of loving kindness is drawn upon the person who studies Talmud at night, is in itself what protects him from the serpent. Okay? Come and see how tremendously powerful is this tree, this chesed, this aspect of the thread of chesed. Rabbi is expressing his amazement that Hashem's kindness is so great upon us, that Hashem thought a tikkun, has a tikkun for each one of the things that could harm us. Even this, that a person would study Talmud at night in order to rectify the consciousness of Malchut, the birds of the holiness, but he's studying Torah with ulterior motives, and therefore there's a serpent that will swallow that Torah. Even for that, Hashem has a plan for us, something that can save us from that you should study the Talmud at night specifically, and by studying the Talmud at night, instead of just any time during the day, that will bring you that thread of loving kindness, that light of loving kindness that will save you from that, even from that.
Very nice.
Yeah. As now, Rabbi Nachman, after explaining this piece from Abba Bar Mechana, he's going to take this Torah, the ideas that we just learned from, and he's going to fit it into another Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. It says in the Mishnah, Mesechet Avot, the 6th Mishnah in the first parak, Aseh lecha rav ukneh lecha chaver vehevedan et kol ha'adam likav zechut. So it almost sounds like it's three separate things, but Rabbi Nachman is going to connect all these three instructions of this Mishnah, why one is connected to the other. What's the first instruction? Aseh lecha rav, make for yourself a rabbi. You have to choose for yourself a rabbi, and when you have your questions, you ask that rabbi. If a person is scattered among many, many rabbis, he doesn't have one authority figure, so then if he has something that he needs to know about how to act in his life, so he's scattered among the many rabbis and he doesn't know how to act, because maybe one rabbi will say one thing, another rabbi will say another thing. So a person needs to make for himself a rabbi. So it's not only that it should be one rabbi, like I just explained, as opposed to many rabbis, also that a person should have a rabbi, that he asks his questions, physical, begashmiut, if a person has questions on how to act in physical things and the gashmiut things in his life, and if a person has questions in serving Hashem and how to act in spiritual aspects of his life, he needs to ask his rabbi. The second instruction is you should acquire for yourself, buy for yourself. So it's simple, the exact translation, you should buy for yourself a friend. Okay? It's important that you should buy for yourself a companion. You should build meaningful relationships, but truly meaningful relationships. Do whatever it is needed in order to build these relationships. If you need to sometimes give in order that your friends should be around you, and you should have companionship, then you should, by all means, says the Mishnah, you should do that. Right? It's extremely helpful and healthy and beneficial for a person to have meaningful relationships and companionship in one's life. It's actually one of the most important things for a person's emotional well-being.
Some people might question how meaningful it is if you're buying it.
Well, that's exactly the chiddush of the Mishnah, because sometimes a person needs to bribe the gashmiut in order for there to be a more spiritual, deeper thing happening, right? If a person didn't bribe, so then you would say to yourself, okay, I'm here. If anybody really appreciates me, then they're going to come by. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes you need to, let's say, host a Farbrengen or something like that. You know, you host a Kiddush or something like that at Shul, right? So you host a Kiddush at Shul, and only through that, you discover that you have similar interests and that you live next to each other and that, you know, and that you build those connections. But if you always you say, oh well, I'm here, and anybody who is worthy of my companionship will recognize that I'm worthy and that I'm special, and they will seek me out. It's not going to work that way. That's the chiddush, the insight here that the Mishnah is teaching us. And the third instruction is to you should judge every person favorably. So it seems like these are three things that are not really connected. And Rabbi Nachman, based on the Torah that we just learned, is going to connect all these three things. Says Rabbi Nachman, when a person listens to the song, the music from someone that is fearing of Hashem, so it's the music of holiness, which builds the malchut, as we said, that's the consciousness that builds the malchut. So this person is building his aspect of malchut. So that's the first instruction in this Mishnah. Make for yourself a rabbi. A rabbi is the aspect of malchut, right? He's the leader. Okay, we're just going to finish this line, and we'll continue tomorrow. If you want to stay another minute, it's fine. You should make for yourself a rabbi is the aspect of the malchut, because the rabbi is the leader, the one who gives over the laws. He is in place of the malchut in this world, which is the law of Hashem. So that's an instruction that you should rectify your aspect of malchut, as we said through the holy birds. So that's the second instruction. The second instruction is, and it's connected to the first, how do you build for yourself a rabbi? How do you build the malchut? It's through kaneh. Kaneh is the windpipe. And the windpipe is the place where the song comes out of. So kaneh lechachaver is alluding to the fact that if you want to build a malchut, it's through the song that comes from the windpipe. And we'll continue tomorrow. Be'ezrat Hashem. Have a wonderful day. Both of you, all of you, atzlacha and everything.
You too.
All right.